Welcome back to horse racing today. I guess we couldn't come up with a better name, right, Terry? So we'll just roll with that.
Yeah, that sounds all right, unless somebody wants to make some kind of suggestion for us.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that would go like "Good Morning America," "Good Morning," something along those lines, but horse racing related. Today we have a guest with us, Tom Carley. He commented last time that he wanted to join us, so we figured we'd bring him in, test him, see what he's got today at Indiana Grand for the Pick 4. Tom, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you both for the opportunity to be on here. I've followed the website for a long time and see what I can do.
Well, we're glad to have you on and see. You'll have the old-fashioned beginner's luck and make Terry and I look really bad once the races are over. Tell us a little bit about your horse racing. Your horse racing story.
I grew up the son of a trainer, raced mostly through the Midwest, and went away to college, kind of strayed away from that, pursued my career, always liked horse racing, and business climate took me back to Lexington in 2010, and I went from being exposed to racing on a Fairmont Park level to a Keeneland level, and it kind of was a great awakening to me, and have just dove in with both feet ever since. Been an owner, been a trainer, try to be a handicapper, a gambler, and many times I should just sit in the corner and be quiet at the racetrack. But
it's probably easier to be an owner and a trainer than it is a handicapper.
Or a gambler.
Well, I don't ever gamble. I just play probabilities. That's all I ever do. Sometimes they don't work out. But, in basketball, a good friend of mine used to tell me, if you take a good shot, it doesn't matter if it goes in, as long as it was a good shot. So I'm always taking good shots, baby. Yeah, at least that's what I think. But the people watching probably think otherwise. That's for sure. So we're going to talk a little bit today about a couple things. One, we're going to start off. Tomorrow is a big day, and then the next day after that's another big day. Opening day at Del Mar and Saratoga, two of the better tracks. I would say of the two, I have more fun or find it easier to be a handicapper at Del Mar than I do at Saratoga. But I think that's probably universal. What about for you, Terry?
Yeah, I agree with that. The fields are very competitive there. And, it's really, for me, it's really a hard track to handicap. But if you do win or get, something coming through there, it usually pays pretty well. So
For sure. And then, of course, Del Mar opening up. It won't be part of this meet, but they'll be opened again in November because they're going to have the Breeders' Cup there. Right, Tom?
Yes.
So how about your experience? What are you looking forward to in Saratoga and Del Mar?
Well, I look at Saratoga and Del Mar, the highlights of the midsummer racing spectrum. But like you said, it's two different tracks. Saratoga, if I hit 3 races a day with the price of pay, I know that I'm going to make money. And it's kind of a Major League Baseball. Keep taking the bat, keep swinging at the curveball. Don't get upset if you don't win. To where Del Mar is a little bit more formful. You got to come out and be a little more selective, not so much picking horses, but gambling better, how to allocate your money throughout the card. I've never been to either track. I do look forward to putting a trip together to go to Saratoga this summer. So I am excited about that.
I'm hoping to head out to Del Mar as a part of the horse racing radar team for the Breeders' Cup. We'll see how all that plays out. Terry, you're the one that's been to like every track from here to Australia and back. Have you been to Del Mar?
I've been to Del Mar, yes, and I really, really love Del Mar. I did really well there. I hit a pick 5 for $8,000 there, so it's a really favorite track for me. I haven't been to Saratoga, but I've wanted to go for a long time. I really like what they do with the fans there. For instance, they have something called the Bet Squad, and that's where you can come and they'll show you how to bet. Show you how to read the form and how to read the program. I think they do a lot to help bring in the crowds and for the public. So, and I think that's what more and more racetracks should start doing.
Maybe I should head out to Saratoga to go to the Bet Squad so I can learn how to bet and handicap and all those things. It might be a benefit to me for sure.
Yep.
And part of that, that's the next thing we're going to talk about here is the Summer Triple Crown. I quite frankly haven't heard of that before, but apparently that's a thing where it's the Haskell, which is this weekend at Monmouth Park. Of course, we'll be covering that in great detail here on Horse Racing Radar. And then it'll be the focus of our Players Edge podcast this week. Sean and I will be highlighting the Haskell in our weekly focus on a specific race because it's a Breeders' Cup win in your in challenge race. And then, of course, the end of that is the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar. So you have the Haskell, the Travers at Saratoga, and then the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar to complete the summer Triple Crown. Had you ever heard of that before, Tom?
I did hear of it last year. I'm a little bit of a sucker for these kind of multi-race programs. I was always a big fan of when Churchill Downs and CDI did the bonus when you won the Muniz at the fairgrounds, and then the Old Forester, the race before the Derby, and then the Arlington Million. I followed, Chad Brown's horse a couple years ago that won that. So, it's one of those that you feel a little bit vested into it, especially if you've got the horse that, hey, I had the horse when he won the Haskell and the Travers. You kind of have that, hey, he's kind of my horse. Of course, that isn't always the best for handicapping when you go in there and root for a horse, as opposed to just handicapping.
Uh-huh. Well, I understand that for sure. I like them because there's a connect, right? It connects one race to the next, to the next, to the next. And when you connect from one race to the next, to the next, to the next, it gives you kind of something to look forward to, right? So when you're handicapping, for example, the Triple Crown, and maybe you get the winner in the Kentucky Derby wrong, well, then you got a chance to get it right in the Preakness. And if you get the Preakness wrong, then of course you got a chance to get it right in the Belmont. Really what you want the order to be is you got it right in the Kentucky Derby, you got it right at the Preakness, and then you got it right at the Belmont Stakes. And of course, it's really good for horse racing when it's the same horse heading for a Triple Crown, right, Terry? I mean, we saw that with Justify and American Pharoah. The interest in horse racing goes up when there's a dominant horse.
Absolutely. You get a lot more people watching it, and I think more people get interested in it, and maybe that'll carry on because we need that sort of thing in horse racing. I've been very concerned, as a lot of people have, at some of the problems that have happened here recently and how the horse racing's kind of went downhill a little bit. I know that years ago when they used to have crowds at like Del Mar, for instance, 40,000, and Golden Gate Fields, where I'm from, they used to have 30,000 people crowds, and now that they're really lucky if they get a couple of thousand people there. So
maybe you should offer everybody a free prime rib.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if it's my internet, but I feel like I'm going in and out a little bit. So maybe my internet's a little spotty today. I'm not sure, but hopefully it's not showing up on your end. But I can't hear you, then I can hear you, then I can't hear you. So maybe it's just I'm getting old. I got to turn up the what do they call it? The hearing aid.
Yeah.
All right. So now, Terry, we're going to talk about your pick of the day. So tell us what happened yesterday, Terry.
Well, yesterday I had did a pick of the day at Thistletown, and the problem was when I sent in my pick of the day, for some reason I got last week's pick of the day sent in, which I had done pretty well on last week, but I didn't want it to be for yesterday. And it turned out that my picks of the day, my first choice won the race, second choice ran second, and third choice ran third. So I was really disappointed in myself. So I'm starting to double check, triple check what I send out now.
So that's one of those kind of the tree falls in the woods thing. Did it really fall in the woods? Did you really pick the first three, or didn't you really? You know what I mean?
Actually, you could look at an email I sent to Chris that's at 8:15 in the morning that had the right information. So, yeah, I did do the pick of the day. And today my pick of the day is at Mountaineer. And it's in the sixth race, and I like the number 7, Princess Tisnow. Finished 70% of the time in the money in her career, and she's won 29% of those races. She's finished 86% of the time at today's distance, so she really likes this distance. And she's won 47% of those races. She's won 55% of her starts at Mountaineer, so she really likes the track. And then I like number 2, Dixie Red, who won her last race easily at today's distance. She's having a good year. She's won 50% of her starts. And then number 1, Drop Dead Gorgeous, has one of the highest speed ratings in the race and will be very competitive with these horses.
All right. So hopefully that all plays out, and you got the right ones in today, right, Terry?
I did, yes.
These aren't from last week, thankfully.
No, they're from today.
All right. So now we're going to move on to everybody's picks. We're going to go to the Indiana Grand Pick 4. The first 2 days we did this. Well, yesterday we were going to do it, but unfortunately I had to go off to meetings that, I could not get away from, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I couldn't. So we're back today. The first day, I think Parks got canceled after the second race, right?
It did. Yes, it did. And so, no way to find out how we'd done.
So we were going to do Indiana Grand yesterday, but because I was out, I was going to say, though, Parks monsoon yesterday, Indiana Grand monsoon. So Terry, you and I are very good at picking where in the country it's going to rain. But I think today I read it is sunny in Indiana Grand. They're going to race on the dirt and they're going to race on the turf, at least for the races that we're going to do 6 through 9. I know I read that race 4 is off the turf, but hopefully our picks will still hold true and they'll race on the turf in the later part of the afternoon. So let's get started with the late pick 4. We'll do what we call the hot dog pick 4 first, and that's the cheap one. So let's start with you, Tom. Tell us a little bit about the horses you like and why.
Well, the first thing I do want to say is I do appreciate the fact you had that meeting yesterday, because it was 3 turf sprints in yesterday's pick 4, and that's my kryptonite, and I'm not very good with that. But as far as kicking it off, I look at really 2 horses in the 6th race. I look at the 3 Drink at the Creek. 3 2-turn runner-ups at this meet. Last out, the barn got a little ambitious and tried a state-bred minor stake, and the horse ran 5th, but was just completely over her head. She's got some commonality in here in that she beat the 1 horse, the 2nd and 3rd races back, and she beat the 2 horse 4 races back. And then I went with number 4, Sentimental Journey. In May, 2 back, she tried this company in group. She went off at 3-1, and she just got tired. Unlike a lot of other horses at Indiana Grand, this horse has really been busy on the work tab. She has get 2 works since then. She then tried a minor stake and ran 3rd at 6 furlongs. I do really like the trainer Tom Amos, and he really knows how to place his horses well. Moving on to the 7th, I was going to go all in and single the 9 if it rained, and the race went main track only. But thank you for the information. So they'll stay on the turf at a mile. The number 2, Nobody Listens. She chooses to run here instead of an easier race yesterday. She was entered in both. That tells me the barn really feels confident about this placement. She faced a lot of these foes on dirt last out. She took the field all the way to the head of the lane and faded to finish 4th. The track bias was toward closers on that day, and there is a good work on the tab. Never been on turf before, but 2 back, the barn did enter on turf and it got rained off, as has happened a lot this meet. And then I'll play 3 Altered. Came out of the same state-bred dirt stakes race last time, rallied to run 2nd. This horse has made a tremendous amount of progress in each race and only has to take a minor step forward to really be the class of this group. The 8, 2 horses, the number 5 Diamond Solitaire, has a win in 2 seconds in the last 3 races, really looks to be making progress. And then the number 6 horse Voodoo Justice won 2 back on the turf in this horse's only career turf effort. Did have a bullet 3 furlong work last week. And I'll move to the 9th and play Hopefully I'm Alive and hold it in the hopes of the 1 and the 5, Double Tough. Back-to-back second place finishes. He's a tactical horse, but he did show the ability to close well. The last race was very visually good visual race. After 2 minor stakes, this horse gets a lot of class relief. Tempted to make it my single today. And then with Verb, you've got trainer Keith DeSormo. He's had success at all kinds of levels. Another one that he gives class relief coming over from Churchill. I do not like the fact that he not only makes a Shelbyville debut today, but he does not have a local work as well. He was a $65,000 colt, and this 4-year-old has not been gelded yet. So maybe the owners are looking past the racing career into a stallion career. So real simple $8 budget for the budget players out there, and try to get you home.
That's where we try to have a hot dog. And the hot dog is me. The prime rib, which is coming up, is again Terry. Terry, how about you? You have a little bit different card there.
Yeah, I do. I like the number one Wellington Wonder. The one on the rail post has been winning at 27% clip, and the early speed style really helps. I think the number one's chances should improve at the shorter distance, and it has sharp 5 furlong workout on July 8th. And then I like number 5 Azura, and she finished in the money in the last 6 races that she's ran, so she's very competitive. And then for this 7th race, I'm going to single Trouble Justice. Is one the best turf speed. He has the best turf speed in the race, and he's got a hot trainer who's in the last 14 days is 4 starts, 2 wins, and a third. And then I like 5 horses in the 8th race. I like the number 9. He's back to a mile where she does the best. I like number 10. Has a high percentage trainer, highest last race speed rating, won last race at Indiana Downs at 8 furlongs on the turf. It was a good turf on that day. And then she has the best turf speed and is the fastest among the today's starter. And then number 5, Diamond Solitaire. It has a hot jockey the last 7 days, 8 mounts, 2 wins, a second, 2 thirds. Finished in the money the last 3 races, 2 seconds in the first. Then I like number 6, Voodoo Justice. It's 1 for 1 on the turf at this distance at Indiana Downs. And then I like number 3, Every of the Other One. Dam has produced 2 turf winners, a 20% trainer when it's a second route race. And then in the 9th race, I like the number 1, Double Tough. He has the highest race speed rating, ran second in the last race, highest speed figure at today's distance, best dirt speed is fastest among today's starter. And then I like Charco, number 4, won 3 out of the last 4 races. And number 5, Verb, is a 3rd best speed rating in the race, but been running against, I think, harder horses. So my hot dog is the 1-5 with the 1, with the 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, with the 1, 4, 5, which is a $15 ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people can see that on the screen. That's why I'm leaving it up. So they probably prefer to see our picks than our faces anyway, because we have faces for radio. For me, I agree with you. The 1 and the 5, the 5 second time off a layoff should improve. Last time out had big improvement. Second off a layoff. 1 gets the rail, and the rail is a high win percent gate, and speed's been holding up. So speed rail 1 should do all right. Last time broke from the rail. Held its speed till late and then kind of died. So should improve this time out. I agree with you guys. I like the 2. I agree with Tom on that. But I also like the 1. It had the highest debut speed figure. I like to look at that because I expect the horse will improve. And the 6 horse is 2 for 2 on an off track, which tells me that the horse is going to like the turf. Race number 8, I have the 5, the 10, and the 12. I just felt like they were the 3 best horses in a deep field, and I had a really hard time settling on 3 horses here. So I like the 5 horse last time off, 4th time off a layoff was one of his better races. The 10 and the 12 appear to me to be the class of the field. And finally, I like number 1 in the first leg of race 9. And then I like the 8 because I think the 8 is going to be one that showed a pretty solid speed figure last time out and has a pretty good combination of late pace and should be. I don't think the pace in that race is going to be too crazy, so it should be pretty close to the front. So you got a solid speed figure. You got a really strong late kick and shouldn't be too far off the lead from the jump. So that's our hot dog pick 4. So now we're going to move on to our prime rib pick 4. This is where we're going to spend everybody else's money, which makes it the most fun, right? When you're spending other people's money.
Yes.
So, Tom, tell us a little bit about who you added, because you already told us about what you started with.
I added the 1 Wellington Wonder. Been running with this group, back-to-back thirds. Did win a non-winner 3 in his life, 3 races back to elevate to the non-winner of 4 in a life. I do like the back-to-back bullet works. I did throw in the 5 Azarita. I am a little skeptical in the fact that this is the first time in 8 career starts this horse stretches out to 2 turns, but in this field, it might get loose on the lead and take it gate to wire. What I added in the 7th race, I threw in the 1 and the 6. Obviously, we talked about the one before. Trouble Justice won the career turf debut, and Rich, as you said, the barn does improve, and the barn's 26% with the first winners. If I had to do this ticket again, I probably would remove the 6 and add the 10 in the next race, but I'll stick to what I did. And wins allowance races, but struggles in listed stakes, and this is a listed stakes today. In the 8th, I added in the 9. Tuck Your Tail and Run. 3 turf races. What I like was the barn started off the career with 2 career turf races and ran 3rd and 2nd. The barn switched this horse to dirt, and then 2 back. It went back to the turf race, to turf, and lost by a neck to the number 6 horse, who I did like on my hot dog ticket. And then if I had my druthers, I would have thrown in the 10 because the horse is 2 of the last 3 on turf. And then in the 9th, I added the 3, the Fever. It's an Arlington Invader and one here locally at Fairmont, close to where I'm at in St. Louis. This horse was injured, took off all of 2020, and has come back a different horse with 2 wins in a second. It's 3 races in 2021. And also a signal is the jockey Roman comes to town to ride. This is his only mount, and he hasn't been here all meet.
So he's making a trip for one horse. So he ain't there for the Indiana food, I guess. What is the Indiana food? At least in St. Louis, it's barbecue. I don't know. What is it in Indiana? I mean, we have hot dogs. I'm not sure here in Chicago. So, all right. Anyway, Terry, you're out by Golden Gate. You're seafood. So tell us a little bit about the horses you added.
Okay. Well, in the first leg in the 6th race, I added the 2 and the 3. I added Misty Express. She likes Indiana Grand. And then the 3 drops in class today, helps to return to a route. It helps her to return to a route. Has the best dirt speed, is among the fastest in today's starters. He has a hot trainer jockey combo. In the last 14 days, they've won 2 out of 7 races. And then in the next race, I added the 2, 5, 6, and 9 in the 7th. So nobody listens. Breeding suggests he'll like the grass. The dam has produced 2 turf winners. Hot jockey in the last 7 days. And then I added the 6, cuts back a little in distance. That could help. It's a few too many. Number 5, Looking at Justice, has the highest speed rating. And hot trainer in the last 14 days also. 3 mounts, 2 wins. And then the number 9, the dam has produced 1 turf winner. And it could, number 9 could, Hard Luck Justice could improve at the shorter distance. Has a sharp workout on July 8th. In the 8th race, I went with the same 5 horses. And in the 9th race, I actually dropped a horse. I dropped the 5.
Well, you had to keep it to $100, so you had to figure something out. Yeah, I was almost going to start with the same thing I started the first race with, 1 and 5, but so I added in the 4 horse here because last race Speed Figure was the highest drop in class. It's a combination that's worked for me many times. In the second leg, I added the 5 horse. It just looked as good as the rest. Figured the horse looks like it's improving a little bit from race to race to race. And because you have that kind of stepping up the stairs where you see it's a little bit further up as it got to the 6 furlong marker than it was the race before, than the race before. So I like that improving trend. That's one of the things that I like. So that's why I put the 5 in there, Looking at Justice. In the next race, I added the 3 and the 7. It just, to me, was a wide open race. And I really wanted to get as much coverage there. I felt like those 2 horses were the best of what's left. And in the final leg, I added the 4 horse. The 4 horse should be one of those horses, again, that has good speed figures. It's got a good early pace number, so it won't be that far off the pace. And it has solid late pace figures. So it should be in the race all the way around the track, which means it'll have a chance to win, which is what you're looking for, right? Coming down the stretch, a chance for your horse to get to the wire first. And that's why I added that. And my prime rig ticket is $90. So hopefully we can cash on all of them, right? I don't know if that's possible because our picks are pretty spread out between different horses.
Yeah, that's true. So,
well, hopefully one of them at least hits. Both are mine, but that's what we all hope for, right? In any case. All right, Tom. So tell us about your first experience with Horse Racing Radar or the horse racing today, and putting our picks out there and talking horses in the middle of the day on a Wednesday.
I just saw in some postings on different topics that Sean from your group had made some postings, and kind of how you do with those things, you banter back and forth. And then I said, hey, I really like what you guys are doing here. Give me a call. Here's my number. And he picked up the phone. We had a nice talk, and you guys started in. I started to play in some of your free contests that you had, and really enjoyed that. And it just kind of seems that you got the contest, you got the stories, you've got this where you do handicapping and select cards, you've got Terry's pick of the day. What I like about this versus other handicapping shows is you do spend some time talking about topics of the sport. Anybody can come on and just say, well, I like the 3-4 and the 6th and the 2-3-9 and the 7th and blah, blah, blah. You guys kind of talk your way through it. You put the budget together for new fans. Hey, I don't want to make a big risk. Guys that are, hey, I'm going to go heavy. I want to make sure I win. You hit it both ways. And I kind of like the little news portion of it first, kind of like a sports center type thing to where, hey, this is what's going on. I've always told people the biggest problem with horse racing is the barrier to entry. Information, you give somebody past performances the first time and they just, oh my, what's this? How do I handle this? And how does it work? Oh, shucks, what do I do? I've done a few things before for friends of mine and clients of mine, wives, where, Tom, I'm going to go to a derby party. I know you know about this. Just give me 2 or 3 talking points so I can say something in a crowd where I look like, hey, I can be in a conversation for 5 minutes. And where I'm not picking, well, I like the name of the horse or the number of the horse or things like that. Where
always bet the gray, baby.
What?
Always bet the gray.
Always bet the gray. Yeah.
Especially when it's rainy. On a rainy day, bet the gray, right? And for me personally, if there's a horse named Rich in the field, I bet on him no matter what, because I'll feel like a real idiot if a horse of my name wins and I didn't bet on him, right? So that's one of my it's my strongest handicapping angle, bar none.
Well, I love to bet on horses that have my kids' names or my grandkids' names or my wife's name. And it's really funny because they usually do pretty darn well and pay pretty well. So,
well, sometimes, some days I do feel like if I went into Excel and made a random number generator, I would maybe do better. But, when you spend a lot of time, you do learn a whole lot of different things. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people learn at the same time, trying to pick some winners, trying to cover some topics and some folks that are in the industry that maybe aren't getting the coverage on the bigger sites without losing focus of the big things as well. So we want to be an all-inclusive community for horse racing players at every level, from the first, your first day at the track to wanting some talking points to your friends to the most sophisticated person. And like Tom said, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a horse racing contest. They're free to enter. You just got to go over to the website, register, put your picks in. If you win on Friday or Sunday on a regular weekend, you $50. If you win on Saturday, it's $100. And on Saturday, you get the pleasure of me explaining to you which horses I like, so you know which ones not to pick in the contest, right? So that's how it breaks out there. Anyway, folks, it was been fun with you, Tom. We appreciate you coming on today. Hopefully, good luck with your $8 ticket specifically, and the bigger one as well. But thanks for coming.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, like having you as a guest.
Terry, I know you got someplace to go today, so we'll let you get going. I have to go home, but you sure as heck got to get the heck out of here, they say, right?
Yep, that's true.
All right, folks, Terry and I will be back tomorrow at the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you join us. If you like it, hit the subscribe button down there somewhere and the bell so that you catch us right away, or you can check us out on Horse Racing Radar on Facebook or on Twitter. Until we meet again, good luck at the races.